Alrighty, all welcome back to the channel. Of course, my name is Tommy, and this here is the Gallery Backyard Barbecue. And today's show is going to be a quick one, but it is going to be a good one. As a lot of you guys know, I have been battling some temperature issues with my Masterbuilt Gravity XT. A month or so back, I installed a Chef's Temp S1 right on the face of the hood of the Masterbuilt, and that there is giving me some accuracy in the temp readings inside the pit. That said, I was contacted by a viewer who told me to adjust the housing on the thermostat inside the pit to allow a more even airflow, and see if that doesn't help the spikes, the temperature spikes, along with the accuracy. And I can tell you, my first look at all that, it certainly did. But we are going to take that one step further today, as we got to continue to monitor this pit. To see how good that mod on the thermostat housing, as we will monitor all that closely here today. And of course, you got to throw a good simple recipe in, and that in there is going to be a cherry Coke chicken. So look, what I want to do here is let's turn these cameras down to the board and let's get started.
I've always felt like these whole little chicken fryers that you could pick up at any market for about $7 is one of the most underrated proteins that you can cook on any pit. So this is going to be a fun little recipe that I've got here for you today. We will get the chicken out of the package. Make sure you've got all the little goodies taken out that are inside. If you are going to trim the bird, you're going to want to do it now. Get that bird dried off, get it trimmed. We are going to split it out in two for this recipe. And if you've never split one of these birds out in two like this, it is very easy to do. There's only a little bit of cartilage that you got to get through. Get yourself a knife, chef's knife, and just be careful. Split it out in two. That is going to give you a lot more even cooking inside the pit. And today's recipe is going to be a cherry Coke chicken. This is going to bring a lot of flavor into the dish. We will do a simple marinade with the cherry Coke. Now, you want to stay away from diet cherry Coke because you're going to want the sugar in there to give that to get that skin nice and crispy, nice and charred. Get the Coke in there, split it up, just put it in the fridge for about 6 hours. Now let's head on outside because we got to get that Masterbuilt fired up. So just to remind you guys, there is the housing for the mod on the thermostat. I am going to get my Chef's Temp quad in there. This is a wire that is going to track the temperatures along with the Masterbuilt XT. Once my pit has leveled off at 300, we will get the chicken in and we will monitor the temperatures closely. And as you can see, we are at that 300 range. The Masterbuilt the Chef's Temp XT is lagging behind just a little bit, but what I want to show you here is I'm going to bump that to 3 1/4. Keep an eye on the XT control panel. Once she hits 3 1/4, she absolutely stops and does not go above it. And that was one of the big problems before I did the mod on the thermostat inside the pit. Again, we will bump it to 350 and just let the camera play. And of course, I have sped it up a little bit, but you will see when she hits that 350 again, she just stays there. Now, the Chef's Temp is lagging behind. That is completely normal. The flickering on the Chef's Temp is because I've got high-low temperatures set. I know it's a pitta, but I really didn't want to move it at this point. I just wanted you guys to monitor the temperature inside the pit. But right now, again, I will raise it up to 400 and watch the control panel do its thing at 350 to 400, and once she hits that 400 again, she just stops and she sits there. And to me, that means any overshoots that the XT used to do, which trust me, they have done a lot and often, no longer is the case. So next up here, what I am going to do is I'm going to lower the temperature down to 350 on the Masterbuilt and just allow it to sit there, let everything settle, let the chef's temp settle down, let the chef's temp catch up, as I have been adjusting up and down for the last 15, 20 minutes or so. And as you could see, once she sits there on the 350 and the chef's temp does catch up, it is pretty much good to go. At this point, I will just adjust it up at 400. And again, after about, 4 or 5 minutes or 3, 4 minutes, whatever it was, the chef's temp catches up and the chef's temp pretty much sits about even on the XT control panel. So I am definitely pleased with that. Now look, we got to go in, we got to get that chicken off. It has been about an hour and maybe 10, 15 minutes or so. And the color there that you see is going to be from that sugar in the cherry Coke. And I can tell you, as with most of these birds, when you cook them flat out like that, split, they are going to be juicy as juicy can be. What I want to do here, before we take this in live, I've got some closing thoughts to go over. Let's just get our chicken off and let's get one of the legs off and let's take a closer look at this, do a quick taste test. And again, you can see the juice is all over this bird. This is one of the reasons I just absolutely love doing split chicken like this. With certain recipes, there's all kinds of recipes, and I would definitely suggest for you to give this cherry Coke recipe a try. You're not going to get much of the Coke. You are going to get a hint of the cherry, but you are definitely going to get a lot of juice, a lot of moisture, and also a very crispy skin. So look, what I want to do here is let's just take this in live. I've got some brief closing thoughts on this whole video.
Alrighty, so here are my thoughts on this video here today. First off, the Masterbuilt control panel. I believe when you set the temperature, let's say you are going from 3¼ to 350 or 3¼ to 400. I think the control panel reads the temperature at 400, but I don't believe that the pit is actually 400. I think it takes a few more minutes, 2-3 minutes to even out that temperature. I know this because I understand that the chef's temp is going to lag behind a little bit, but it is not going to lag behind 4 or 5 minutes like like it shows on film, as I was sitting there painlessly and watching it for about an hour, hour and a half. So what I think is happening is when you set the Masterbuilt to 300 and that control panel hits 300 and doesn't overshoot anymore, that problem has been fixed. I do not think the temperature in the pit is actually 300 yet, even though the control panel is saying that it is. And again, I know this because my chef's temp, first of all, the chef's temp is 100% accurate, and just allow it to sit there for 4 or 5 minutes or whatever it is, and the chef's temp will rise up and catch the Masterbuilt at that 300 or 350 or wherever you got it set. So again, that tells me that when the control panel first reads a temperature on the Masterbuilt, it is not really that temperature inside the pit, if that makes any sense. Other than that, I could tell you the overshooting that the Masterbuilt Gravity Fed XT used to do when you set the temperature to 300, she'll overshoot at 380 or whatever it is. That problem is done. That has been fixed. Set to 300, she stops at 300. Set to 350, she stops at 350. That is for sure. And I believe the accuracy inside the pit, after you allow everything to settle down, is pretty much precise. At least that is the readings that I am getting. So I am very pleased on the on fixing that housing. Maybe Masterbuilt will come out with a mod fix of that, or release another one that so it's not boxed in. Or the rumor has it maybe LSS Mods Luke is going to release something, so you guys don't have to play around with the housing. You could just buy another piece and switch it out that way. Other than that, man, I am completely happy. Of course, the cherry Coke chicken totally kicks. I mean, that was some good eats right there for $7. I mean, how could you beat it? Go out and get yourself some chicken, and certainly try this recipe, as it is so easy to do and adds a ton of flavor. Juicy chicken while keeping that skin nice and crispy. So look, that is going to close out this show here. I appreciate you all for watching, and until next time, we will see you soon.